Well, I mean, it's this notion that, all these norms in Washington that the Farm Bill would be joined like that, that nobody would ever not extend the debt limit, that, the sequestration cuts are so severe that nobody would be able to stomach them. And the answer to every single one of those is this Republican Congress can. They'll jump off the cliff. They'll let the government shut down. They'll stomach sequestration. They'll separate the farm bill in half so that nutrition is separate from the farming subsidies. They'll do all these things that the proper people of the Washington Beltway assume is a step too far.
Right. And and I think it's also worth pointing out as well as you have to give them credit for at least shifting the debate. Even talking about food stamps, the Senate Democrats agreed to about $4 billion in cuts. And so when they go to conference, they're not going to be on board with the $40 billion, obviously, but, having that benchmark out there helps shift the debate. If you look at the way that they've dominated the whole conversation about the budget, it's a certain kind of dominant discourse where Democrats are on the defensive, and the broad kind of parliamentary left is also on the defensive. And we're having conversations about just not cutting things, as opposed to actually expanding programs into, trying to push forward with a really progressive agenda.
Is there any effort in the Democratic caucus to be shifting the conversation like that?
Yeah, there are a handful of certain outspoken members of Congress on the issue. It's also worth pointing out, you don't have a lot of Democrats arguing for instance, there's already going to be people cut off SNAP. They're going to be decreasing benefits because there was an increase as part of the sequester. So you already have that cut happening first. And, you haven't had Democrats going on the record saying that they, are opposed to having that benefit increase expire. So there's one case of already kind of, ceding ground if you want to get it to a conversation about strategy. That was a missed opportunity, I guess, if you're a progressive and you want to see Democrats helping to dominate the conversation. They really ceded this to this kind of dominant discourse about the necessity of austerity and being fiscally responsible, as they put it.
So what happens? Okay, they send this. The Senate then votes to strip these provisions and votes to send it back to the House, and then we're back to square one again, right?
Yeah, I think eventually, you're going to have some sort of compromise here. It's not going to be $40 billion, somewhere between $4 billion and $40 billion. And there's a couple of for instance, I don't think that the bill is going to include this termination of that state waiver authority that we were talking about. I don't think that's going to happen. But you could see some smaller cuts that are going to be part of that.
All right. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the politics here in welfare reform 2.0, or as it's better known, the debate over food stamps.